Hey, business owners, we know you know the importance of maximizing every dollar. With the Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business American Express card, you can make your expenses work just as hard as you. From afternoon coffee runs to stocking office supplies and even team dinners, you can earn miles on all your business expenses. Plus, you can earn 125,000 bonus miles for a limited time through October 29th. The Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business Card. If you travel, you know. Minimum spending requirements and terms apply. Offer ends October 29th, 2025.
Welcome to our podcast, It's About Payroll. We're your hosts, Brian Escobar and Walter William Duncan III. Whether you're new to the payroll game or a seasoned veteran, we have something for you. Welcome back, folks. It's About Payroll, episode 132. We're talking earned wage access. But before we get into it, how are you doing, Walt?
I'm doing good, Brian. How about yourself?
Man, I'm good, bro. I love that I really feel good in my soul about breaking up the episodes back to their
original state.
Right. Back to the original state, yeah, because again, folks, we're doing tests. You guys, if you've been listening to us from the beginning, you've seen the whole evolution, OMG, right? And we just felt for this audience, they always got something because we would always say, regardless of the show, we are still teaching payroll people something, but it's the other show that we really wanted to focus on the employees, and I felt like they were getting short-sticked from it. They were getting the short end of the stick, how people say. And then, and you know what? Not for nothing, payroll people too, because we would like, all right, enough about payroll. It's again, the quality of the product didn't feel like it was there for us. So we were like, no, we definitely need to break it back up. And we're doing that. And we're talking about earned wage access. And this is good stuff for employees, but we'll do it separately for them because it's a different angle. For us, for payrollers, we got to talk about it because it could impact our jobs and how a bunch of things. We go as we'll get into it on this show right now. There's lost my little fidget toy over here. Oh no, there we go. All right. We're going to, as always, Walt will start us off with pay news updates. What you got for us today, sir?
I have an article from Payroll.org, and shout out to Payroll.org, by the way, and talking about holiday incentive pay. So there's an article that they put out on the 8th of November, and it stated that the Colorado Supreme Court ruled that holiday incentive pay must be included in the calculation of the regular rate of pay. They referenced a case, I guess an employee, Hamilton versus Amazon. And in this case, incentive pay was additional compensation for any work that the employee did on a company holiday. And it was supposed to be paid at an overtime rate at the employee's hourly rate for any hours worked. The employer, unfortunately, did not include holiday incentive pay in the calculation of overtime because they refused to. And so this employee sued, and the court ruled in his favor, or their favor. So what is holiday incentive pay? So it's a form of compensation that employers offer to employees who work on holidays, and it can take the form of time and a half, where employees receive 150% of their normal hourly rate for working on a holiday. It can be paid as double time, and it also can be paid in the form of a bonus as well. So it's additional money on top of what you normally would get for holiday. That's why it's called incentive pay. So you may see a UPS person working on a holiday, more than likely they're getting holiday incentive pay. A FedEx person might be getting holiday incentive pay. But the Amazon person, like in this case, might be getting a holiday incentive pay. Now, mind you, this is in the state of Colorado. The Colorado Supreme Court said this may be different in a different state. So you want to do your research as a payroll pro or the HR pro, or if you're an employee listening to this, you want to do that research as well.
No doubt.
That's it. What about you, man? What you have?
Interesting as we continue on the holiday season and talking. a lot of companies are increasingly offering earned wage access as a benefit to attract and retain employees. For example, retailers are enhancing holiday hiring incentives by providing on-demand wage access. They're saying, right, hey, come work for us for the holidays, and you could probably pay yourself daily, weekly, whatever, because there are guardrails on it. So be careful, right? So yeah, they're using it as an incentive. Yeah, check it out. Which probably gonna drive our payroll peeps crazy because if you don't, they must already have it in place. So that's one of the questions that I want to go over later, right? That you saw my notes.
Yeah, I did.
Because it's curious, right? Anywho, but before we get into earned wage access, let's pay the bills.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to TimeTrackGo. If you're tired of messy timesheets or complicated time clock software, TimeTrackGo is intuitive solution that makes managing employee hours simple and efficient. But don't take our word for it. Customers have given TimeTrackGo a 4.7 out of 5 on Capterra, and they have been awarded badges for best ease of use and best customer support again in 2024. Shout out to TimeTrackGo. Congratulations, folks. And then here's what some of the customers are saying. They're saying great value, best clock in app on the market, great time clock for modern office, intuitive and efficient, simple to use, priced right, and last but certainly not least, customer support is awesome.
That's the way to go, man. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. To learn more about a simply better solution for time tracking, real-time reporting, PTO automation, payroll integrations, or more, you want to visit www.timetrackgo.com. That's TimeTrack go.com. Go ahead and get that done and start your 14-day free trial today. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. So we're talking about earned wage access, EWA, pay on demand. I think one company hit it on the mark when they named their company called Daily Pay. And it's the reason why I really wanted to talk about this subject is because I think it's a great product. When I first saw the demo or heard the demo and the intro for it all and the pitch and all that for it a few years back, it was from Daily Pay. And I was just like, wow, this is amazing. And I did have questions, right? I was like, how does it work? What are the fees? How does the things? And again, it checked all the boxes. It seemed like it was the right thing to offer your employees. The employer can put guardrails around it. It does require payroll intervention. Like you would need to get your payroll team involved to build the integration. It doesn't sound like it's a lot of work. I haven't worked anywhere that we've had it yet, but it doesn't sound like a lot. Thing is, there's some amendments. There's some laws changing and shifting because in the beginning, the way they pitched it was you get earned wage access. You have to earn the wages. Think about gig workers and and this is why it really blew up is because of the advent of the gig worker. Because the gig worker, they can get paid daily, right? You can get your funds quicker. Earned wage access companies piggybacked on that and said, hey, how do we also do this? All right. So fast forward, a couple years down goes, and now there's a ton of earned wage access companies out there. And government is starting to take notice and starting to really shift how they feel about it. And effective January 2024, Connecticut Small Loan Lending and Related Activities Act regarding earned wage access advances. And there was another one from May 10th, 2024, Department of Labor guidance on third party. So let's see what they're saying. So what they're saying is that Connecticut Small Loan Act is saying that a small loan includes loans with a $50,000 limit and an APR over 12% and transactions like advances on future wages. So they threw them in the bucket. Sorry, folks, I need to get a little drink of water here. So they're saying, government is trying to say that it's a small advance loan. And it's really not, but that's just my opinion. What else are they saying? Advances to consumers for future wages that are under $50,000 and have an APR exceeding, okay, I said that already, DOL, guidance on EWA products. They're saying voluntary agreements between workers and EWA providers. Yep. These arrangements fall outside the DOL jurisdiction unless the employer is involved. Here is where the problem is. If the employer integrated model exists, the state wage payment laws may apply. And as the DOL maintains jurisdiction over employer-employee relationships. Folks, we're just sharing info, right? We don't have no idea how all this is going to play out, what's going on. I absolutely know for a fact that these companies have lobbyists in DC trying to prevent it from becoming a advance, loan, anything. Because it's really not access to your wages, okay? But again, that's just our opinion. I don't know if Walt agrees, but that's just my opinion on what this is. The employer responsibility. Employers must obtain written authorization from employees for payroll deductions related to EWA service fees on a DOL-approved form. DOL reviews the authorization to ensure fees are nominal and reflect the service cost. Deductions do not lower employee wages below minimum wage. Over time.
Before we move on, I need to let you know about my friend Mark Pfeffer and his show, People Tech. If you're looking for the latest on product development, marketing, funding, big deals happening in talent acquisition, HR, HCM, that's the show you need to listen to. Go to the Work Defined Network, search up People Tech, Mark Pfeffer. You can find him anywhere.
It says that impact overtime pay or lack financial disclosures. As I read through the things, and I think that's all I'm going to share. I'm going to speculate because the rest is it gets into more legalese and things like this. But my take on it is that it is not a loan. It is not an advance. I guess you could say it an advance, but it's not a loan. I don't even know if it's an advance either.
We'll talk about it, man. We'll talk about it at the end.
You got more? Okay, so yeah. See, that's why I'm getting caught. All right. Walt's going to share, and then as we close, we'll speculate a bit more.
So, look, I'm just going to get into some specifics about California and about what they're doing.
Different states are chiming in. They got opinions. Yeah.
Well, so, look, like there's new regulatory requirements in the state of California. So they're leading the charge with specific EWA regulations. So beginning in February 15th of 2025, California will require direct-to-consumer EWA providers to register under the California Consumer Financial Protection Law, CCFPL, rather than requiring full licensure under the California Financing Law, which is CFL. This new framework treats EWA advances as income-based advances, aligning them with lending regulations without equating them to traditional loans. This change impacts providers who operate outside employer-sponsored programs, is introducing new disclosure, reporting, and legislation obligations to ensure transparency with consumers. So looks like California is trying to do this to give more protection to the consumers and more to the employees. I always say California is one of those employee-centric states. Yep. And so because of this, the California's regulations aim to protect consumers from those hidden fees that are requiring those disclosure about any fees, such as gratuities or expedited payments. Providers must clearly state these charges, and it is now an accepted, when this passes, it will be considered a deceptive practice to imply that registration equates to the state endorsement. So it's really going to hold these third-party EWA providers to a certain standard and keep them honest in this case.
Okay, that sounds good at face value, yeah.
Yeah, and so because they're going to be telling them, hey, you got to tell them the cost up front.
Okay, that's cool.
So there's going to be some federal oversight and compliance with this as well at the federal level. The regulatory bodies like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau have started to define EWA under lending laws such as the Truth in Lending Act, TILA. And the CFPB rescinded no action letter from 2021 signals a growing federal interest in defining the consumer rights and disclosures associated with the EWA programs. So employers who are offering EWA, you need to stay informed about what's going on with the federal regulations to avoid potential compliance risks, right? And so you just want to be careful as the employer, right? Because the reason that the EWA it was started was to offer flexibility the employee to get early access to those earnings. So they want the employee to understand any potential fees and ensure that these advances do not become a recurring debt-like tool, which is crucial, right? Look, I don't know if anybody's ever back in the day. I know I have. I'll tell on myself. I'll be honest. When I was younger and I wasn't making much money, I had to do some payday advances.
Me too. Yeah.
Back in the day, right? And so I think in my mind, it sounds like they're trying to prevent EWA from becoming that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I agree, but I didn't hear. We talked to these folks directly, and that's never the case with and I'll even, if we have time, I have some of the fees that are involved, and it's not that.
By 2025, the EWA landscape will likely have more formalized protections, responsibilities, which help employees access their earned wages in a more transparent and fair environment, while that employers and EWA providers adhere to these new compliance standards.
That sounds better. I like how Callie's framing it, but still, and where's the thing at? Oh my goodness. I looked up some of the fees that are involved. I got a million screens of. All right. So some of the fees that they're saying, and this is ChatGPT, but it is searching the data. We're getting good at prompting. It is checking against resources on the internet for current knowledge. They're saying the per transaction fees, which you should be aware of, it's free to the employer. Earned wage access is usually free to the employer. The employer has to endure the process of integrating it with their payroll and agreeing to do it. Like, you got to sign off, right? But the fees are usually to the employee. And this is what everything you said is good, because it's protecting the employee from what could become harsh fees. So the first thing was like per transaction fee, but it's only in the instance of, it says flat, let's see, many EWA providers charge a flat fee for each advance. For instance, some services may charge between $1.99 and $4.99 for instant transfers. Okay, if you want to get paid today because you work today, or if it's a weekly thing, because again, the employers should be able to put guardrails on how often and how much can be accessed. So if you allow a daily thing, that could be $2 a day or $5 a day. That could get expensive, but you got to pay attention. The employee has to be like, okay, look, I'm not going to do it daily. I'll do it once a week. Sidebar is one of the surveys that I came across out there. Most folks did it. They made themselves weekly paid. They didn't do it daily. Most employees that were used to a semi-monthly or a bi-weekly, they made themselves get paid weekly. So that's a nice flow, right? You ever got paid weekly? Ooh, that's nice. You get every Friday's a check.
Yep.
Some of the other fees are subscription fees. Some of these platforms offer a subscription model. Another fee is expedited fees. So if you want to get it quick, because again, you could do $2, but it doesn't hit till the next day, or you got to pay them.
Or 3 business days, 1 to 2 business days.
It can't. Yeah, I get, if that's the case, then it defeats the purpose. But you pay the expedited fee and you get it very quickly. But now here's where that California stuff comes into play, because you want to get protected from all this. And then they said some of the platforms suggest you leave a tip for the support service.
Yep.
Like, come on, that's ridiculous. That's like when you go buy food now, some places they turn the screen around and it's a tip thing. Like, you ain't doing nothing. You ringing me up. Anywho, so those are some of the fees. And what do you think about all this, Will? Like, what?
Oh, look, I think that this is, and that there's going to be some definite pushback. I think that one of the key things that we did talk about, I think that California was trying to do, is just have transparency, right, of what's going on, and keeping these companies honest with everything. Look, and if the employee, at the end of the day, it's the employee's choice that they want to do this. If their employer offers it, or if they use a third-party provider, and the employee's like, hey, this is what I want to do, then the employee should have better understanding of what goes into this, right? Hey, so if I get $100 now and I get it expedited and I mistakenly hit the tip too, I'm going to be paying back more in my next check than what I potentially borrowed, if you think about it. So I can borrow $100 and end up paying back $125, $130. You know what I'm saying?
If that's how it works, I don't think that's how it works though. I think if you get 100 and you get fees, you're gonna net out $75, and you're gonna still pay the 100 back.
No, I don't think it's how it works.
How do you know?
I don't think that's how that. I think they add it on top of what you're getting. Because why? Because I don't think they're gonna deduct those fees from what you're getting.
We don't know. So yeah,
because that would. If it was that case, then it would make no sense to do at all.
What?
You're saying I want $100.
Either way, you got to pay it.
Yeah, either way you got to pay it. But I think it's going to be the other way. You're going to pay more.
Because think about, the only reason I say that is because the way that earned wage access is, you're getting against $100. Your company only has a certain amount of pay to give you.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what fees and all this you're talking about. They're going to pay you. Let's make the numbers easy, and let's do it in a weekly thing. So it's let's say I get $1,000. I'm getting $1,000 net on Friday. Net, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your company only allows you 80%. So now I can only get $800.
Mm-hmm.
That $800 is going in the bucket. They don't care how you feed it up. It's only that $800 that's going in the bucket. So I get, we're saying the same thing, but doing the math in a different timing, because it's only $800 that's going into that bucket.
I hear what you're saying.
Your earned wages.
I hear what you're saying.
There's no extra. They can't say, oh, $800 plus I owe them $100. Your company's not giving it to you. They're only putting $800.
You missed what I said about third party. You're talking about the employer. I'm talking about if they did it with a third party.
But that's how it works with a third party.
I know people that have actually done it.
Done what?
Did earn wage access. I got their money early through a third party. And I'm telling you, that's how it works. They get $100.
Now you know. You just said you thought, but now you know.
I know how it works because I know people that have done it.
Okay. So how does that work then? How do you?
I just explained it to you. The third party, if a person requests $100.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
They're going to add the fee on top of that $100. The person's going to get $100 no matter what. But they're going to pay back more.
We're saying the same thing. So we're saying the same thing. So it just eats into that $800 quicker. So instead of me actually putting $800 in my pocket, I can only put in. I'm only going to get $700. I'm taking away from what I could take tomorrow if I do it.
That's how you meant it. Then yes.
We're both saying the same thing. It's just the timing of the math. What I'm saying is the employee is limited as to how much they're getting, period. So fees or no fees, if those fees are high, it's eating into how much they can pull out in advance. The company's not going to pay them more to cover fees, is what I'm saying. You're pulling against the check.
That's not what I'm saying either. I'm not saying the company's not pay them more either.
I know, but what I'm trying to say is it's limited still. Regardless of what timing of it all is, it's limited.
I agree with you. Look, like you're taking away from your next check or your paycheck. Yes. When you get paid, you're literally taking away from it. So
I looked for what we at? Oh, we got a couple minutes. I looked up quick stats, see what stats were out there. It says by 2023, approximately 24 million individuals were projected to utilize EWA. Data indicates that EWA usage has tripled over the recent years, reflecting significant increase in employee engagement with these services. The majority of EWA users are under 40. Interesting. And employees using EWA services save an average of $50 per month on overdraft fees. Okay. And then 89% of employers offering EWA have observed a decrease in employee turnover. See, it's the stats are in favor of earned wage access. That's why I get mad at the stop calling it a loan in advance. Now, I get it. If there's some companies out there being predatory with the fees, then yes, that's the problem. But I like it, man. I hope it stays around, and I hope that they regulate it properly so that employees could take advantage of it, and not like us back in the day. If you that advance loan, if you didn't pay that advance loan on your paycheck date when you set it, you got it doubled, tripled. It was ridiculous.
Question of the day: what do you think the impact is on payrollers? I think that we definitely should care. Because we want to make sure that the employees are getting paid properly, right? Whether that's because look, I don't know who runs the EWA program with your employer, if it's offered as a part of the service. So maybe that's automatic and they'll just deduct it. Maybe just automation to it, and the payroll person doesn't have to worry about anything or anything like that. I think from that standpoint, we should care because we naturally care about making sure we can want to make sure the employee gets paid correctly and that things are done correctly. But we may not have to do anything because in these cases, I'm guessing that there's automation with these services.
There is
used, right? So
yeah, there is. Doesn't mean your company gets to take advantage of it, because even though there's a ton of automation in the world, doesn't mean every company's ready for it. Because my thing is, the reason why I asked that, whether payrollers should care or not, is, again, the model that I was presented only requires a daily feed of hours and rate, of course. So whatever EWA company you have has to get a daily feed of the hours and rate that an employee is working. That's simplified. I'm sure there's a little bit more. I'm sure social, employee ID, the demographics, these things have to be fed over properly. But as long as they have that, the employee can pull wages, and the payroller only processes payroll just the same. But the employee has to add, I think, like their direct deposit to their profile, and that money goes to them. So like the portion that they had taken, this is where the advance comes in, and the loan speculation is because you taking money on Monday, but whatever company is not getting it back till Friday or the following Friday. So that's where that part is. But the payroller processes pay, to my knowledge, the same. Somebody has to somebody should be reconciling. That's a good call out. Who reconciles that? And that's it. That's all I could think of.
Look, but I'm sure that there might be some payroll pros who play a key role in implementing that and managing it.
Yeah,
well,
for sure.
Right? So,
for sure. But to that point, should we care that whether an employer gets it or not? Do we have any skin in the game?
Is that what you meant?
Yeah, should we care? Should we care if my company gets it or not? You know what I mean? As a payroller. Is it going to make their job harder, easier?
I think somewhat we definitely should care.
To what extent, though? Why? Because it makes my job harder, easier? Or is it just from the human aspect you're saying? Like
it depends on all of that, right? It depends on, look, I feel like if there was a way for the people that I service now currently in my current role to have access to their funds sooner, sure. What?
Right.
Benefits them.
Yes.
Right. So like that I do care about that. I do care about paying them right.
Gotcha.
I do care about those things. That's just a personal thing. So
Yep.
my standpoint is it's you take it as it's your deal. You may not necessarily care whether a company has it or not as a payroll pro, Ryan. But me, if my job offered it or they were thinking about offering, I would say, yeah, let's do it. Now, on the other hand, you may be in a role as a payroll pro where you don't have that much bandwidth. And people are relying on you to be the one to implement and manage this. So that's another way that you should care whether or not you do it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So yes, I think either way, there should be some level of care that goes into it.
Right.
It just depends on you and your scenario as the payroll or HR pro.
And we're over, but there's some stuff to shave down in here. And as you pose, do earned wage access programs help employees manage their stress, their debt, or do they risk becoming a cycle of reliance that undermines long-term financial stability?
Yeah, it depends. It depends on the employee and the situation, right?
The statistics say that it's helping.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Like you said, improves recruiting and retention, improves employee satisfaction, reduce turnover.
Yeah.
Faster filling of open position. Like all those things help. Mm-hmm. What do we say in our episode of it's up to the employee? Every individual employer is a different case.
Yeah.
And so it's up to them to have some type of.
Yeah, if they're not good with money, it doesn't matter.
Right?
It doesn't matter how often they're getting it.
Right.
They're going to be broke anyway.
Yeah.
But I think it's a really, I think it's a good program to monitor. If you're skeptical, monitor it and adjust it accordingly. Meaning because again, the way I was pitched this one company, the employer can control how much they're allowing the employees to pull out. So they could say, well, 80% is too much. My employees are struggling. So let's do only 50%. Who knows? Monitor. I don't know. I think it's eager to see how it plays out. I think it is a great tool for employees, especially coming from a semi-monthly frequency where that semi-monthly can get a few days further apart than that you could be comfortable with sometimes. Sure, I think about my folks in the UK, like in Europe and the rest of the world, they get paid monthly. If you don't know any other way, it's just your way and you're fine with monthly. You know what I mean? Yes. What do you think overall?
Overall about EWA? I think it's good. I think that honestly, again, like I was saying earlier, that with the benefits that you mentioned and ongoing work to make it more transparent, to have those employees protected, to make sure that they're educated about what the purpose is and why they should, and employers too, right? Why they should probably do it. Man, I think it's a win, right? Like the payroll landscape is ever changing, and there's going to be some new stuff that rolls out there in the future that we're going to have to worry about. So I think, honestly, it's good for the employer and the employee. What do you feel?
I think you nailed it with the future's coming and it's going to change. I thought right away, crypto. They're already paying in crypto. There are some companies, there's a crypto token that runs payroll. And then
what about bricks?
Hi there, I'm Peter Zollman. I'm a co-host of the Inside Job Boards and Recruitment Marketplaces podcast.
And I'm Stephen Rothberg, and I guess that makes me the other co-host.
Every other week, we're joined by guests from the world's leading job sites.
Together, we analyze news about general, niche, and aggregator job board and recruitment marketplaces sites.
Make sure you sign up and subscribe today.
BRICS. What's BRICS?
That new currency. Brazil, Russia, Indonesia, China, South Africa.
Really?
Yeah.
What, like the euro?
Yeah, they came up with their own currency.
Word.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we'll try to give competition to the dollar. Look, I know the dollar is out there and is king right now, but
Not always. No, the euro gets ranked higher in value. Sometimes the euro's higher.
Okay.
Yeah.
so
So
like,
it's the euro and the dollar top two, and then bricks. I love it. They gonna bring a whole new meaning to moving bricks. I love it. I gotta see. I gotta look. We gotta look that up. Currency but see, yeah. So to that point, I think that, and when we first asked about, we're over. But when we first asked about paying in crypto,
Well,
some of the legal feedback I got was, you can pay in whatever you want. If your employee agrees to get paid in oranges, guess what? You can pay them oranges. It's between the employer and the employee. So if the employee says, yeah, I'll get paid in crypto, then you can pay him in crypto. You can pay him in bricks. You can pay him in euros. It's up to the employer to actually want to do that, though, and jump through all the hoops and the legalities to actually do that. So that's where I think it becomes a bigger issue, is the company's willingness to pay you in a different currency or whatever it is. And circles all the way back to EWA, because one of the big feedbacks that we got at the conference at PayCon last year was that it's their biggest friction, their biggest obstacle is actually the sign off from the company, that the CFOs or the CAEO just don't want to implement the system. And they tell why do I have to help with their financial wellness when they can deal with it on their own? And that's super insensitive to your workforce, because 80% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. So why wouldn't you help them? All right, folks. I hope you enjoyed this invigorating episode of It's About Payroll, as me and Walt battle out EWA technicalities. We need to get some of our EWA folks online to clear us up. But yeah,
Brian's a stickler for what you say, so gotta be.
That's right. But I'm learning that. Yeah, just do what you say and say what you do. Learning is actually might be a mental disorder, but we'll cover that on a different episode, maybe with Keenan.
It's a preference.
It might be a disorder, but we'll talk about it. Talk about that offline.
Well, it's a quirk. We all got our quirks.
Quirks, sure.
We got our quirks, bro.
That's what they call it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It was a good debate, man. All right.
Yes.
Until next time, folks.
We love you.
All right. Cheers.
Peace.
Before we sign off, here are a couple quick things. Don't forget to follow It's About Payroll on LinkedIn and It's About Your Paycheck on Facebook and TikTok.
Thank you for being part of our payroll community, and thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep going.
Every minute your finance team spends wrestling with data is a minute lost. Insight Software's AI-powered insights instantly move you from complexity to clarity. Automated analysis, real-time reporting, strategic recommendations, all at your fingertips. Transform how your finance team works and watch your business grow. Stop wasting time. Start making smarter decisions. Learn more at insightsoftware.com/AI.